Yep. Yeah, I think I can. Do you need it like right this minute? Okay. Yeah, just get some practice slaps in. Yeah. Forgot what a good time at Bathurst is. I don't know if like 202 is like possible in this game or not, or have your pre-race facts. Dream. It's true. Make sure I can get into the 204s, 203s. At least I think I did in the Porsche. Haven't driven in a while. Odd choice. That works, I guess. Can't talk shit against it. 201. I said I can't talk shit about your car choice when you're running a 201, so. Yeah.
I don't know if I have a high enough rating. Yeah, I don't remember what my rating is. I think it's like 76 maybe, so. Oh, no, it's open. Are we doing the America one?
Yeah.
Oh, I can get in. Wow. Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Porsche it is, because it's the only car I know. Yeah, I actually watched it back today while I was at work. Oh no, I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that part. I like that though. Yeah, yeah. I liked your commentary. That was pretty good. Nice.
All right, Scott. Instead of changing the broadcast booth, I just made your own voice channel, so it's easier.
Scott's channel.
Okay. There you go. You can change the name now.
What the fuck? The spotter just went 1-2 checka. This is the spotter. Is that
Most
Matt?
annoying one. Yeah.
Like I was like, what the hell? Why do you do that?
I always cringe when he does that. Because that's the
Rick-
spotter I use. Because he has
Yeah,
the most normal voice, like, in usual circumstances, except that.
yeah. That's the first time I haven't liked him.
I think this might be a change all 4 tires race.
Yeah. Is there a mandatory pit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think he actually did?
He's been saying that, yeah. I almost broke my old wheel once on Bathurst. I was racing and I think I got like knocked out or something, and I was just like really pissed off, so I like punched it, and somehow the force feedback like completely reversed, and I
Oh
still
my
had like
god.
half of the race to finish. So like instead of, it would just pull in the opposite direction, and I was like, oh my god, I fucking ruined this thing, didn't I? But I just restarted. It was fine, but that was crazy.
Yeah, it looked fine. It looked good actually. I like the motion blur settings you had, or like the FOV.
Real fancy.
Hey, good evening.
Hey,
Hello.
Oh,
Kyle was saying how much better his stream was than yours, you know, just talking shit. Yeah.
yeah, I like that. Yeah, he's got a bowl cut. I don't like it. Theo, what are you taking in this?
Do the vet.
I think that's what I'm going to go with. I tried the vet and the Bentley, but the Bentley feels it's so hard to stop it.
Yeah. Big hefty boy.
Yeah, I got a better time with it, but in the twist, like in the going down the back hill there with all the twists, like it's just you're beating off the walls every time.
The vet has like boring handling, which is useful on this track. That's absolutely crazy. You know,
I think that's what I'm going to go with. I tried
stable.
That's not mine. That's Zoltan, I think.
Zoltan.
Yeah.
His
Hello.
mic's acting up. Hey,
It's because he pushed the computer.
Get that echo going. Like in the going down the.
Rifle Prisisowski. Rifle Prisisowski.
And good evening, race fans, to another exciting night with North America Race Room. I am your host for the evening, Scotty G. I'll be commentating on the 1 hour race at Mount Panorama Circuit in Bathurst, Australia. Today's track facts: we got 20 degrees Celsius air temp with 28 degrees track temp. No wind and sunny and dry because this is Race Room and they don't have weather. Totally cool. Tonight's qualifying sees 12 drivers coming from all different parts of the world. Starting off, we have Theo Lupu, who's currently taking the auto director for a trip around the track. Behind him, we have Mohamed Aldia, Ramiro Perez, Jared Svetek, Nicholas Cortez, Bernie Puebla, AirG Autobox, Juanma Ruiz, Victor Paz, TJ Sacocio, Ryan Persiowski, commonly known as Pretzel, so we're going to go with Pretzel for the night, and Scott Teese. Tonight's race will be an hour-long battle up and down the mountain in probably motor racing's most terrifying track. They used to do motorcycle racing here, but they ceased to do that just due to the constraints. Motorcycles like having a lot of run out because obviously there's no roll cage to save you if you do decide to find a different path. So it's mostly moved to cars with roofs on them. Even open top cars don't race too much here at Bathurst just because of the tight walls and no run out. As you can see, Theo coming up over the top of the mountain right now. The dipper, the skyline, and all the portions here get very tight very quickly, and it can be a bit terrifying, especially when you're behind the wheel, staring down, no run out, and blind crests such as this. A little kiss on the wall, down through the dipper, and down into around Forest Elbow. So you can see there how easy it is to find yourself into a wall or into running issues because of the track limits being nil. Tonight's race is a fairly decent mix of cars, just for the spotter's guide out there. Theo Lupu is driving around in the Callaway Corvette C7. Nicholas Cortez is driving, I'm just going to have a quick peek here, he is driving the Audi R8 LMS GT3 Evo. You can see it's got two little fins on the front. It's kind of the giveaway between all the other LMS cars that Audi is running in this series. Bernie Puebla, I believe, is running in the Mercedes. This one's a bit of a tougher call to make. I think he is running in... I'm just going to check my spotter sheet here. I think he is in the AMG GT3, not in the SLS. He, yes, I'm going to say he's in the GT3. Again, the front winglets on the front of the car kind of give that one away. Miro Perez driving the Porsche. Easy. Jared Svetek also running the same livery as Theo in the Corvette. Mohamed Aldia is running a BMW M6. There are three different BMWs that were put in: the Alpina, the M6, and the Z4. The M6 is far and away the most comfortable driving car of the three, and it's totally understandable why Mohamed would pick this. ARG Autobox. Have a quick look at the front of his car to see if we can guess at what he's driving. So you can see that front winglet's just a little bit different. He is running the LMS Ultra. It only has a single winglet on the front of the car. TJ Secocchio is driving the hypnotic-looking livery of the Porsche. Scott Teese has got his BMW Alpina parked on the track. Not too sure what he's doing there, but he's hanging out. And the Pretzel, switching things up a little bit. Driving around in a McLaren. This is the 650S. And we'll see how he can do out there in that. Not too often you see McLarens in the competition. They're not really well-loved cars. They have a little bit of understeer, and they can be a bit slidey, best put. So just a little better than 2 minutes left. We've got Theo Lupu sitting at the top of the leaderboard, running a 2:04.006, an impressive lap time out there. I think the leaderboard is 2:02 flat, so being within two seconds of a track record is good, I guess, for a 1 hour race. Victor Paz behind him at 2:04.385. Ramiro Perez is 0.2 seconds behind him. Down further, Nick Cortez, who's still on track in the Audi, is running a 2:04.926. Bernie Puebla is a 2:06.0. Jared Svetek, who's also the second Chev, is running a 2:06.855 as he heads down the hill towards the chase. Ruiz is sitting at a 2:06.992. TJ Secocchio, a 2:07.194 in the Porsche. Mohamed Aldia is a 2:07.254. ARG Autobox in his Audi, a 2:07.316. And Scott Teese with a 2:08.036. So a couple seconds left in this qualifying. We're moving on to the 1 hour race. There will be pit stops, so there'll be a little bit of mayhem involved with that. We look forward to seeing how the drivers manage their tires, fuel, and pit stops. There may be a 2-pit strategy. There may be a 1-pit strategy. We'll see. These GT cars are not well known for sipping fuel, if you will. So there you have it. Leaderboard is up. Theo Lupu, Victor Paz, Ramiro Perez, Nicolas Cortez, Bernie Puebla, Ryan Przewski, TJ Secocchio, Jared Svetek, Juan Ruiz, Mohamed Aldia, ARG Autobox, and Scott Teese, making the 12 cars of this 1 hour race. So if you haven't done it yet, get yourself a fresh drink, get yourself comfortable, grab a bag of popcorn, and yeah, let's get ready to race. Looks like we're waiting on 4 more drivers to get in. So Theo Lupu lined up against Victor Paz at the starting line here. We may see those Porsches leap out in the front as Victor puts his flashing lights on. Let everybody know he's there. There you go. The cars jounce as they switch over to driver control. Lights flashing, and lights are out. Here we go. As you can see, those Porsches are quick off the line. Theo Lupu is being quickly caught up by Ramiro Perez. Victor Paz out in front. A very clean first corner. We're going to jump up to Theo Lupu at the front of the pack here as they go into the very first hard corner here under heavy braking up the hill. Drivers going to work their way around the cutting now. This is a very tight section. It's tough to find room here, and it's even tougher to make a pass. Pass through Quarry Corner, apologies. Through Reed Park, up over Frog Hollow. Ooh, we have a sideways vehicle of, I think that's Ramiro Perez. His neck coat is messing him up a little bit. He's kind of jumping all over the track, and this kind of opens the door for Theo Lupu to pass through. Passing over the top of the hill, coming up on the skyline, and diving down the hill through the S's. Theo Lupu chasing down Victor Paz, who's managed to make up a second already on this track. Further back in the pack, the Pretzel. It was McLaren is chasing down Mohamed Odia in the BMW. As you can see, there's not much between the two of them. They're just running, 0.1 second between the two drivers as they come down through the chase, picking up a bit of speed through the draft. Ryan's going to go around the outside and into this first corner. A little bit of a touch there. Mohamed manages to stay in front of him as the two lock tires. Ooh, and off into the grass. This is going to cause both of them a little bit of issue. Ryan may have to get that position back. PJ Sicoccio has been given an abuse at the track limits, same with Ryan. As you can see, the stewards were quick to catch that. Further up front, the battle for 5th seems to be, there you go, the Bentley Continental of Ruiz. I believe he switched cars before the qualifying, and I missed that. So his Bentley's pushing a ton more horsepower than the other cars. This will help him in the straights. However, he's also pulling a ton more weight with him, and the brakes are working extra double time to keep him within track limits. Down in position 10, we have Jared Svetek. He is working towards Ryan to make a bit of time up. He should be able to push that Corvette pretty hard. It handles really well around this course. Good mix of horsepower, and the aero kit on it is really allowed to attack the high-speed corners. Coming down through the dipper into Forest Elbow, this is where this car struggles a little bit just because of its weight. Let's see if you can get around this corner safely. It does. You can see those front rotors glowing under the stress coming down a massive hill. The elevation change to this course, I believe, is around 174 meters. So that's quite a high climb, especially when you do it all in one twisting mess. It can overheat your front brakes a little bit. Ryan's managed to make up about a second ahead of Jared, thus escaping the pass for now. Up at the front, Theo Lupu is chasing down Victor Paz, Porsche. Now Theo did set the quickest lap and is currently holding the fastest lap of the race at a 2:05.129. So he should be able to catch Victor up before too long. Behind him, Ramiro Perez sits about 2.5 seconds. So Theo's not worrying too much about being attacked as he chases down Paz. The Bentley of Ruiz has just made a pass over Nicolas Cortez, who's trying to stay with him in his Audi as they come up through the cutting. Again, this tight corner is a little bit tough for the heavier cars. You can see him swiggling a little bit either under neck code or under braking as he comes around the corner and touches the wall coming around the quarry corner. Up to turn 7, 8, 9. We'll get a little bit wide here and try to open up turn 10 as they approach the skyline. Back up at the front of the course, coming down through the chase, Theo Lupu is chasing Victor Paz. So this huge downhill section will give Theo a massive boost as he comes up behind the Porsche. I don't think he's close enough to get a draft off him. We'll see how he ends up when they come into the chase here. So these corners don't look that daunting on paper, but when you're doing well over 250 kilometers an hour, they come up quick, and you can find yourself off in the grass or worse, the gravel, in short order. These front two cars have managed to out a 3-second lead from third place, so they're safe for now from any sort of attack from behind. We'll see what happens with the drivers Ruiz and Perez behind them. Ruiz may be able to find a bit of time as Perez has a little bit of squirming of the Porsche. Tight racing from Lupu and Paz as they come up the hill towards the first few corners. Now the Porsche being rear-engine is a bit of more of a pointed car, meaning the back end will come around a little bit easier for Paz, and he can turn it into the corners and get on the accelerator a little bit faster. Lupu's got cubic displacement on his side, so the larger engine of that Corvette is helping him where the time allows. He can make up a fair bit of room where needed, mostly in the straights. The downhill section here is tough to find any sort of gap, especially when the driver in front of you is as experienced as Victor Paz is. He knows that Theo's looking for any sort of opening and will exploit it if he can. So down Conrad Straight into the chase again. And Theo looks like he's in about the same position he was last lap, keeping himself 0.2 seconds behind Victor Paz. It looks like Victor's safe for yet another pass through the chase. Moving back, another attempt here by Pretzel on Odia. Much cleaner entry into the chase that time, nobody in the grass. Those two escape danger as they come into the final corner and across the main straight. Up at the front, looks like Theo Lupu is going to start taking over Victor Paz coming up the hill into the second corner of Griffin's Bend. Yes, he will make that one stick. So now he's going to push this Corvette up into the cutting, and it looks like Paz is going to try to get back on the inside of him. No. Theo has built up a very nice gap now. He's got half a second on Paz coming into the cutting, going up the hill. So you can see it's quite close to Paz as those trees and signs whiz by. hear the engine of that Callaway Corvette C7 working overtime, both in pushing and slowing down this this heavy car. 6.2 liter V8 is pushing about 600 horsepower, and it yeah, it's working. Looks like Theo's safely escaping Victor right now, using everything his right foot can do. Down in 5th position, Nick Cortez is coming up on Ruiz. The Audi's a very well balanced car. It does take a little bit of effort to find the limit of it, and the unfortunate part is when you do find the limit of this car, it's usually going backwards before you can stop it. Most drivers do enjoy the Audi just because it's a very flat feeling car. Both ends of it behave very similar. It's not a heavily oversteering or heavily understeering car, and it's only after you start messing with the tuning that you really find where your limitations of handling it are. But Nick Cortez is doing a very effective job of keeping himself on the tail of Ruiz, who is fighting with Perez right now in his Porsche and passing him by as they head up the hill. So the Bentley of Ruiz has passed through and has pulled himself up into 3rd place. And this puts Ramiro Perez down in 4th in his Porsche, being chased quickly by Cortez. Behind Cortez we have TJ Sacoccio. He's got about 9 seconds to make up from this pack. 48 minutes of racing left. Anything can happen. He's holding good pace though. His lap times are within 1 second of the cars in front of him. So he should be able to hopefully either use a pit management to his advantage, or just the car's lower displacement to sip of fuel a bit more, get a couple more laps out there. Mercedes of Bernie Puebla, not far behind him at 2 seconds as they come down the hill. Listen to that engine note of that Mercedes is a beautiful thing. One thing Racer really knocks out of the park is audio, so if you have a good set of speakers and you can really turn it up, it's definitely worth a listen. Bernie finding a bit of grass there. Hopefully he hasn't taken too much as he pulls into this last corner. Unfortunate thing about grass and sticky tires is it does reduce your traction, and you may find yourself wide going into the next corner. As we can see behind him, Przesowski had got his McLaren a little bit squirrely coming into the final corner. Jared Svetek's looking to capitalize on that. As I said before, those McLarens are a bit of a slidey car. They do like to understeer, and if you do have the ability to tune them, they can be quite effective vehicles. We will watch what happens from Jared's point of view, looking off the nose of his car. So you get in tight, coming up the hill. See how tight it is here in the cutting. Sharp left hand going up the hill, hugging the wall. And it looks like a blind corner. That's because it is a blind corner. You're going to crest over into a left hand as they come around. Some drivers will use the trees as reference points. The only bad part about that is if the tree gets cut down or something like that, you lose your reference point. Other drivers will use the tall flags to kind of guess where the track is as they come over. Clean driving throughout the track though. We haven't had any offs to speak of. We haven't had any yellow flags, thankfully. And we still have 12 drivers in the race, so it's going to be a great race. Ooh. We just Just watch Jared try to kind of overcook it coming down the hill. That corkscrew will twist you in knots, and Jared found that out the hard way. We'll come back to Jared in a minute as he turns his car around the right way. That is not the line, so Jared will receive a penalty for that that cut of the chase there. He may see a 1 or 2 seconds slowdown from this. Yes, he is getting a slowdown for track abuse. If he doesn't serve this, he could get a drive-through penalty, or worse, he can be disqualified from the race. Looks like Ryan Przezowski still keeping his right foot into it. He may be trying to serve this penalty as slowly as possible. You get about a minute to serve the time. It could be half a second, it could be 2 seconds, depending on how many times you've cut. They will multiply it as you make more cuts on the track. Moving up the leaderboard, we're going to have a look at Cortez and Ruiz, as the Bentley of Ruiz finds itself sideways coming down the hill. This is going to be a bit tough. We're going to pop over to watch Ruiz here as he gets away safely. Bathurst is unforgiving in the fact that if you do go sideways on the track, there's not really much room to turn around, and you find yourself feeling like Austin Powers, having your car stuck sideways on the track. The lock on these cars isn't like your normal day-to-day driver. You can't do a U-turn on the track and get back on the road. You're stuck with about 540 degrees of steering lock, which effectively gives you no steering when it comes to tight turns. Juan Ruiz managed to get his Bentley back straight and only lost a bit of time there. He's now 8 seconds behind Cortez. So he stays safe for now. TJ Sacoccio behind him. It's about 4 seconds back. He may be able to find some time in his Porsche. We'll come back and visit those two. Up at the front, we've had a change in the guard. Victor Paz has made the pass on Theo Lupu going up the hill. Unfortunately, I missed that as they come through the cutting. Moving into the cockpit with Theo. You hear the engine out of that V8 singing out as they come over the top of the hill. Now this down through the S's is probably the more exhilarating part of the course. You hear a lot of lockups down here because as you're going down, you're not just a straight slope. It's a bit of bouncing. It can upset the car and definitely upset when you're under braking, causing lockups. Theo doing a great job of keeping it tidy as he comes around, and the two head down the chase. Flat out into there and onto heavy brakes into this left hand, making a bit of time on Paz there. Look out the back window of Victor Paz, you can see how that Corvette is just making time on him. These two have been duking it out now for 9 laps. They've had 2 changes in, actually 3 changes in the leaderboard, with Theo holding pole position at the start and Victor getting the jump in this 911. Down further, Bernie Puebla, I think, has just left the pit. Yes, so you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, you've got a red circle. So that's letting you know that the pit lane is now open, and a red green circle lets you know that the driver has served their mandatory pit for the race. Ramiro Perez, how unfortunate, he is not racing anymore. The angled car of Ramiro is sitting in the pit now. He may have taken damage or found himself with suspension damage, which is quite common on this track, especially if you come off and ride over the curbs too hard. So an unfortunate day for Ramiro Perez. He was having a great race all the way up in third, but has since retired. We'll come back to the pits later to see the drivers as they come through to make their mandatory pit stop. But for now, we will come back up and have a watch at ARG Autobox as he makes a lap around. So the field has spaced itself out a little bit here. We've got about 6 seconds between Autobox and Przesowski. Przesowski's pushing along quite happily in his McLaren. He did have a bit of a slide earlier, but managed to save it, and he has had a couple of unfortunate off tracks. But he is closing the gap slowly to TJ Sacoccio. As we hear TJ's 911 go by the tower there. The Bentley of Juan Ruiz is still surviving. This country car, I'll call it, this comfortable vehicle, turned into a race car, so they've stripped out all the leather seats and air conditioning, thrown in a bit of scaffolding, and slapped the vinyl on it, called it a race car. Still has a massive engine in it, though. I think it's comparable to the Corvette. It almost sounds like it has a wet liner engine with that exhaust note. Nick Cortez Audi looks like it's surviving fairly well. There's no hood damage or aero damage on the front of it from touching into the walls. So that's always a good thing to see. And he's safely bringing it around the track. Moving off the nose as we come down through the S's, you can see how blind this corner is. A little bit of lockup. And hard on the brakes again. Into Forrest's elbow, named after the famous motorcycle crash, which claimed the elbow of the racer Forrest. You can read more about that online, but it's pretty terrifying when you have a corner named after you because you almost lost your arm to it. But he cleanly makes the pass on Ruiz as he starts tracking down the Chevy of Theo Lupu. There's about 10 seconds to make up for Mr. Cortez. Theo Lupu is now pulling into the pits, so we'll watch him as he finds his pit box. He's comfortable pulling for Theo, and up on just the front, it looks like. He may just change his front tires in an effort to save time. Back down, so yes, just front tires for Theo Lupu there. Usually when you take fuel, you'll see the car sit there for a bit longer, off jacks prior to going up, but in this case, he just took front tires. So he maintains 4th place. We'll see if that pays off for him. These rear-wheel drive cars do like to eat their tires up, but the front end of them is doing a lot of the work, keeping them on the track under these conditions. Przesowski's in the McLaren now looking at the back end of Lupu pulling from the pits, and he's going to try to fight with him to make up as much position and time as possible. It'd be good for Przesowski to actually use Theo to gain him some time as they come up through the cut. Losing it a bit there on the uneven surface. Maybe finding some marbles. Jared Svetek using the same strategy as Theo Lupu, just taking front tires and his Corvette Callaway C7. They don't bother to put pit times up because the pit crews in this game are perfect. They never get anything wrong as he runs over a pylon that doesn't move. Yeah, unfortunately they don't put the animations of the car, so you can't see the lug nuts flying across the track as their wheels are coming off, or sparks flying as the drills engage. But you do get the audio if you're in car, so we'll try to catch that next time someone pulls in. I think Ryan Presosowski may be going into the pits. No, he's not. Let's see if he goes in here. About half the field has pitted for probably their one and only pit of the race. Victor Paz looks like he's trying to push his car for at least half. There we go. Ryan Presosowski has gone into the pit, so we'll jump on board with him and have a listen to the sounds of the pit crew. Hopefully he doesn't overspeed coming in. Hear a bit of turbo chatter there as the car comes to a stop. And up on the jacks. So I think Ryan is taking all four wheels. Yes, so he's completely up off the ground, taking all four tires in his McLaren. This will cost him a fair amount of time. As you saw, the two Chevys taking just the front wheels. This will save you about, I think, 15 seconds, which is massive, especially when you only have an hour to race, and most of these cars have been within 10 seconds of each other. Down off jacks, and away is Ryan. Theo Lupu chasing down TJ Sakakocho for third place. TJ's yet to pit, so this battle doesn't need to happen. But Theo will use it as a time to make pace on Victor, who's up in first place and holding about 32 seconds ahead of Theo. The GT3 cars, they're homologated, so that means that they're actual production cars. There has to be a certain number of these cars made. They're making anywhere between 500 and 600 horsepower, and their displacement can be quite massive to do so. As we hear the 6.8 liter of Theo Lupu's car cruising along there. Unlike the World Touring Car race which we saw last night, as Nick Cortez goes backwards there, these cars are fitted with traction control and ABS, allowing the drivers a little bit of assistance in keeping these beasts under control, if you will. Having 600 horsepower available at your right foot as Nick Cortez takes another bang off the front of his Audi. He is having a bit of trouble now. He may have suspension damage. Keep an eye on Nick Cortez here as he comes down into the straight, heading towards the chase. We may see him going into the pits now. Ryan Presosowski pushing up on the inside of Scott Teese. And makes a clean pass. BMW Scott Teese working hard to keep pace. He is yet to pit, so he will fall down the leaderboard a little bit. But he'll use this as an effort to find lines and find time. Using Presosowski's car as a bit of a drag reduction tool, who's cleaning up the area in front of him. Up at the front of the track, Ramiro Perez looks like he is tracking down Bernie Pueblo's Mercedes as they're making their way up the hill. He is now 15 laps in at the 30-minute mark, so we're halfway done this race. Victor Paz is yet to pit in his Porsche. See how long he can make those tires last. I don't think any of the drivers will be needing to take fuel here, as it is only an hour-long race. But he has to be seeing a little bit of slowdown due to the lack of traction from tires that have been turning and burning now for almost 31 minutes. Fastest lap of the race so far is being held by Victor Paz's Porsche at a 204.48. Behind him, Theo Lupu's got a 204.777. And that last lap, he closed 0.3 seconds on Victor Paz. So he is working hard to catch up the leader. Victor Paz still yet to pit, as you can see in red at the top of the leaderboard. Him and Scott Teese are the two drivers still on track who have yet to pit. Unfortunately, Ramiro Perez had to retire early in his Porsche and is out of the race. So you see 6 laps down from the rest of the course here. It'll be interesting to see what Victor Paz's strategy is for the pit here. He should be pitting soon, though, as the pit window will close in about 5 minutes, I believe. Not this lap, says Victor, as he pulls into the front straight. Down the leaderboard, ARG Autobox is chasing down TJ Sacoccio as they come over the top of the hill. Autobox has been driving a fairly clean race. Haven't seen him get too wide or into any walls. His red Audi has been pushing a 207.846 to Sacoccio's 207.243, and their gap for the last 2 laps is actually quite a wide margin, almost 12 seconds between the two of them. So I think TJ got himself in a little bit of trouble there and lost time to the Audi of Autobox. Jared Svetek kind of banging off the walls a little bit as he's coming down through the winding corners, approaching Conrad Straight. And Victor Paz still has yet to pit after 16 laps. We'll see the solo car to not pit decides this is the time for him to bring that black and red Porsche in for a fresh set of sneakers. Safely down to the chase, no smoke off those wheels as he comes around the corner safely. Heavy on the accelerator and past pit entry, so he's going to go for 17 laps without pitting. He is, however, beginning to lose a bit of pace to Theo Lupu. Theo's running about a second faster than him a lap. Pop over to Theo in his Corvette as he's finishing up the last portion of this track. Hanging out in the cockpit with him as we come down through the chase into the final left-hand bend underneath the Liqui billboard, or arch, I guess we could call it. So yes, Theo Lupu on that lap made up 0.5 seconds, so half a second a lap for Theo Lupu, as Victor Paz's tires are starting to fail him a little bit in the red Porsche, or black and red Porsche. Jared Svetek is down to 2.1 seconds behind the BMW of Scott Teese as they make their way down the dipper, sorry. Round 4 Selbo into Conrad Straight. So American Muscle versus German Engineering as they come down into the chase. This first corner is flat out, and the second corner is heavy braking. We'll pop over to the rear wing of Scott Teese to see if we can see Jared coming in. Hear a little bit of turbo whine of that BMW as he slowly escapes Jared Svetek's assault in that in that Corvette. Jared going a little bit wide, finding some gravel, picking up some dirt, and losing time. Up at the front, Victor Paz, 18 laps, still no change of tires. He is just punishing this poor car. Tejas Kochio's riding about 6.5 seconds behind Ryan Przesowski in the McLaren. These two have had a fairly clean race, not too much drama. The livery of the Porsche is tough to look at, but it's one of the more wild ones in race room. I've seen it on the track more often than not. It's a very popular one. Behind MARG Autobox and the red Audi is chasing with about a 2.5 second gap between him and the Porsche as they come into the chase, neatly around, touching a bit of curb, and on heavy power as he tries to catch up. Down further, Scott Teese. Looks like he's going to get overtaken here by the Callaway of Jared. Looks like Jared's going to be able to make the stick this time. Jared just waiting cautiously for Teese to make an error. Teese has been driving a very clean race thus far, so it's going to be a bit of a wait, I think, if any, for Jared to get by him. As they start to push to the left of the track here, up against the wall, quarter panel to quarter panel, and into the Hell's Corner, as they call it. I think, yeah, Scott Teese just put his car into the wall. That's unfortunate. We can't go back and look and see what happened there, but I did see a bit of gravel and smoke. I think he went straight off into the wall at Hell's Corner. An unfortunate end to Scott Teese's race as he finds himself in the paddock. Moving back up to the front, Victor Paz is now on lap 19 with 21 minutes left in this race. So he's 2/3 of the way through this race, still racing on the same set of tires. It seems like an amazing feat that he's pulling here. Unfortunately for him, that punishment of those tires is going to start costing him time. He's holding at 35 seconds ahead of Theo Lupu, who is making a charge on him here. I think he was sitting at about a 37 seconds, so he's made 2 seconds up on Paz. However, Paz still has to bring his car into the pits, and that'll cost him about I think it's about 26 seconds to get through. So we may see a huge gap close here if Victor only takes 2 tires. If Victor takes all 4 corners, we may see a change again in the leadership of this race. Canadian driver Ryan Przesowski coming down around through the front straight. On that lap managing a 206.18, so he's keeping himself fairly tidy around the track. managing a 2:05.429 is his best lap time on here, but holding happily in 4th place in his silver and orange McLaren with Hot Wheels flames. Make it 20 laps. Victor Paz refusing to put this car into the pits. I think he's got 1 lap left in order to pit this car, and if he doesn't, he's outside the pit window. He may see a time penalty at the end of the race for not pitting. Just watching the Bentley Continental of Juanma Ruiz come down the hill into the chase with the Audi of Nick Cortez in behind him. These two are in 2 different parts of the race here. Nicholas is riding in 10th place, where Ruiz is riding up in 3rd, so he's just sitting on the podium right now happily. Some wonderfully clean racing from those two as they make their way up the hill. Coming back down into the chase again is Victor Paz. We'll hop in the cockpit and see what he's looking at, if he's going to touch any buttons and tell the guys in the pit to get ready with tires. No, he says. As the pit entry goes by on the left-hand side of your screen. Victor Paz continuing to push this 911 to its absolute limit. All the while managing to keep Theo Lupu at bay down in 2nd place at 35 seconds behind him. I mentioned earlier the amalgamation rules of these cars. Some of them weigh in quite heavily, the Bentley being one of them. I think it's probably around 2 tons worth of the equipment that gets pulled out of that car to make it effective on the track. And then they slap in a 600 horsepower V8 engine and a massive wing on the back and set it loose to wreak havoc on the GT3 class. In this case, a great effect as he's holding 3rd place, about 8 seconds from Ryan Przesowski. I almost said Ramiro Perez, but he has retired from the race back on the 7th lap of the race, unfortunately. TJ Scoccio's Porsche's happily working his way around the track as he makes his way into the final corner. Here we go. Is this going to be the time that Victor Paz decides, yes, I will change my tires? They have to be screaming at this point. Theo Lupu has managed to make up about a half a second. There we go. So here we'll watch now as Victor Paz pulls into the pits, hopefully not receiving any sort of slowdown penalty. It looks like he's coming in nice and slow there. Hard on the brakes. Pit horn sounds as he pulls in to alert the pit crews that there is an active car moving down the straight. Any fans of the YouTube streamer Jimmy Broadbent, he posted today in his pit, just after him pulling out in his Brit Car series, the car behind him being T-boned by an errant driver who accidentally pulled out and was struck by a car coming down pit. So Victor just taking rear wheels there. He's back out on track. With 7 seconds between him and Theo Lupu now. 6 seconds. And no time served penalty, so he's away safe. Victor Paz holding up lap 22. With 15 minutes, 12 seconds left in the race around Mount Panorama in Bathurst, Australia. Looking down further on the leaderboard, back to Jared Svetek, who's riding about 17 seconds behind ARG Autobox in his Corvette. Still has the hood intact, so he hasn't touched any walls too hard. All the quarter panels are still on, and he's muscling it down the straight into the chase here. Ryan Presosowski is at 6 seconds in behind Juan Maruiz. Tidily bringing it up the hill into the second corner. His race has been great tonight. He has a couple of off-road excursions in the chase, but for the most part he's been keeping this car between the white lines and keeping the stewards happy. In front of him, Ruiz is chasing down a back marker now of Cortez. Cortez had a bit of an accident earlier on in the race, which caused him a fair bit of aero damage. He can just barely make it on his Audi. Flagmen will be reaching their arms out. Their stands right now waving a blue flag at Mr. Cortez shortly, letting him know that there is a lead lap car behind him. So if you've ever had the chance to race Laguna Seca, I feel this portion of the track is very much like Laguna Seca's Australian cousin, as it is lots of back and forth blind corners while cresting and dipping the car, so you're off balance trying to save it every second. The only difference is Laguna Seca has run out, Mount Panorama doesn't. They just have concrete barriers, so there's no forgiving missing your mark and finding the wrong line on this track. Moving back to the back of the leaderboard, Mohamed Aldia lapping around in his BMW Z6. He looks like he's got a little bit of aero damage on the front there. I think he banged into a wall quite hard coming down the mountain. And unfortunate for him, he may have taken a bit of suspension damage at the same time, so that's causing him a bit of a headache as he's riding in behind ARG Autobox's red Audi. Ahead of him, the Cortez in the yellow Audi, again with front damage. Pulling away a little bit actually from the Bentley behind him, so that's interesting to see. Even with a bit of aero damage and suspension damage, just keeping that car quite quick around the track. Bernie Puebla in his Mercedes, no hood. He's made the modification either by striking the wall or having it removed in the pit for him. As you can see, that V8 engine sticking out the top of the car now, and the two grills there for pulling cool air into the engine bay, keep things from overheating. As flames lick out the side of that car, pulling into the final corner onto the front straight. Jared Svetek's Corvette, he's down to 15 seconds now from ARG, so he's made a bit of time. Moving his way up into the cutting here. Smoothly around the corner as he works his way up to the top of the hill. The Energy Autobox still pushing hard. He's got Aldia in behind him, who's not contending with him right now, but will try to keep pace with them to make up some time as these two come down the backside of the mountain. Through the dipper, into the elbow. Psychedelic Sicocchio coming down into the chase. Is riding about 10 seconds in behind Ryan Presosowski's McLaren. And safely into the left-hander and down around the right. Ryan Precious McLaren coming across the start-finish line. Holding in at a 206.170 as he comes around Hell's Corner and up the mountain straight. The Bentley of Ruiz moving up the mountain just in front of him. Hard under the brakes into this right-hand corner as he pushes it around up towards the cutting. Now the lead Corvette of Theo Lupu is sitting 6 seconds in behind Victor Paz, race leader, with just under 10 minutes left in this race. The two of these guys have pulled quite a large margin behind position 3. Barring disaster, these two will be happily on the podium. As Theo comes down hard on the brakes and pushes his car up underneath the arch of Likamali. And on board with your race leader, Victor Paz, the black and red 911 Porsche. Up and over the curb, coming up the straight, into the left hand, tight left hand of the cutting. I think just in front of him here is the Mercedes of Puebla. Up around Quarry Corner. Into Reed Park and Frog Hollow. Now up over a blind left-hand corner, Sullivan Park. Skyline, now down into the S's, and again into the dipper here. They weren't mincing names when they came up with that one. Victor having to struggle. Oh no! Sideways and backwards. Victor Paz as he strikes the sideways car of Jared Svetek. Behind him, Theo Lupu makes it around safely and pulls into first place with 7 minutes and 42 seconds left. Back up the hill. Jared Svetek losing a fair bit of time there from going sideways in his Corvette. That was terribly unfortunate for him. So he put his car around sideways in that very fast section in Forest Elbow. So that's a blind corner. Victor had nowhere to go. And an unfortunate turn of events there for Victor Paz. So now we've had our fourth change of the lead here after that coming together of vehicles. Theo Lupu was now pulled back out on lap 26, managing a 6-second gap ahead of Victor Paz. This may stick after that occurrence. It doesn't look like Victor's taken any aero damage on his car, so that's a good thing to see. He may have taken a bit of right-hand suspension damage as he tried to pull away from the sideways vehicle of Jared. Safely up over the curb. Looks like the car's still handling him quite well. Down to 6, the Audi of ARG Autobox was not around for that quick car swap, or car meet I should say. So he's driving along safely. Still 9 seconds behind TJ Sicoccio, but keeping it tidy around this track. He's not had any terrifying moments sideways or backward, and he hasn't found the gravel or off-road too much. I think I've seen his name come up once in the warnings for being off track, but as you can see, smoothly up the mountain straight towards turn 2 of Griffin's Bend. Number 8 car, Jared Svetek. You can see he's now got a little bit of aero damage on the right-hand side of the car. That might have been from striking the wall in the dipper, losing it a little bit and catching the barriers. But his car's still managing to get around the track quite well. He's put down a 2:09 last lap, so yeah, a little bit of a slide there. And 2:05 now from Jared as he rolls around that corner. And Nick Cortez continues to push that yellow Audi quite rapidly around the track. Behind him is the Bentley of Ruiz, and yeah, Cortez has been doing a great job of keeping distance from the Bentley, even with the unregulated hood modification he's made of his car. One of the things that we don't have to worry about too much with esport racing is having the front intercoolers or front radiators smash from finding walls, so there's no liquids pouring all over the track as the cars do get damaged, so we don't have to worry about overheating the engines or ruining the track surface for other drivers as there's oil and what have you leaked on the track. Muhammad Odia has found himself in the gravel in the chase, under braking just a little bit there and spinning his car out as he goes into the gravel. Safely escapes though. A little bit of front damage there as he pulls into the pits. Taking it very easy coming in. Oh, he's got a slowdown penalty for track abuse. Hopefully he doesn't get a slowdown penalty or stop and go penalty for speeding in pit lane. It does sound like he has the limiter on, so he should be safe there. We will move up to your race leader as he passes into the first corner going up there. Sorry, the last corner going into the pit straight. And behind him is the second Chevy of Jared Svetek. And just in front of Theo is the BMW of Barry Puebla. Three of them moving up the mountain straight. This is probably the second fastest portion of the track as they come across. You're seeing just a little road on your right-hand side of the screen. That's pretty much the breaking point for that first corner, so it's quite close. And they push those cars wide up over the curb as they make their way up the hill. We will go on board with Theo for his final laps of the race. As he pushes his car along, up and over top of the hill. Victor Paz managed to catch up about a second and a half after that racing incident at the Dipper. He probably will not catch Theo before the end of this race. We got 1 minute left, so this is the second to last lap. The final lap is coming here. At the end of this final lap, the drivers will have done approximately 180 kilometers of driving in the past hour. I don't recommend doing those kind of pace on your local roads. You will find yourself either ticketed or without a car, maybe even in jail, depending on where you live. And in preparation for this race, I'm told that Muhammad Ali actually had shrimp on the Barbie. before coming to today's race. I can't make that fact up. He did send us pictures in our Discord of him grilling it up with some chicken. So he took this race very seriously, and I'm glad that he stuck it out with his BMW to the very end, even though he did find a bit of damage in gravel near the end there, as he takes another slowdown penalty for track abuse. So this will be the final pass for Theo Lupu up over the top of the hill. He'll be happy to never have to look at these signs again. A little bit of wheel sawing there as the car tried to get away from him. Theo quick to catch that, get himself back straight. Coming down through the S's and into the dipper. Pushing hard now down the hill and into Forest Elbow. Luckily no sideways cars for him to find here. A little bit of wheel lock up and down into Connor and straight. Absolutely beautiful drive from Theo today, keeping that car clean and on the track. Pushing Victor Paz everywhere he could and keeping the racing tight. Capitalizing on that turn of events 2 laps ago. And across the line, your race leader, Theo Lupu, takes the checkered flag here at Mount Panorama in Bathurst, Australia. Behind him, Victor Paz comes across in the black and red Porsche. And 33 seconds behind them, the blue Bentley of Juanma Ruiz. Spaniards putting it through the chase right now. Into his last corner to take the final position on the podium. Putting it a little bit wide, back and forth. Maybe a little bit of victory swerving. There you go. There's your 3rd place finish for Juanma Ruiz from Spain in the blue Bentley Continental Land Yacht. Chrome and flamed up McLaren of Ryan Presasowski just making the finish line there and heading up the hill. TJ Sicoccio passing across in 5th place. Front hit right beside him is Cortez's yellow Audi. ARG Autobox coming down the hill. Losing audio here a little bit. No, it's sticking with us. Right, 6th place of ARG Autobox in the red Audi. Pushing around the last corner into the final straight. And you hear him hammering down. And lastly is the Mercedes of Barry Puebla. And that's the end of the race. The timer has gone out. The race is finished. Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty G. Tonight's racer of the night, I think I'm going to hand to Theo Lupu, who's made the most of the events. Took pole, ran 2nd for most of the race, but managed to eke out a win against Mr. Paz. The two of them pretty much setting the bar for the night. And yeah, hope you enjoy.